Hello and welcome to Happy Horror Time. My name is Tim Murdoch.
And my name is Matt Emmert, and today's special guest starred in the smash hit M3GAN, which quickly rose to success and made audiences around the world say, Chucky who? She played Tess, the roboticist who worked with Allison Williams' Gemma to create this lifelike android, but Tess may have been a little too good at her job because not only did M3GAN master some sick dance moves, she knew just how to dispose of anyone trying to keep her down. After all, M3GAN's not just a toy, she's part of the family. Please welcome to the podcast, Jen Van Epps. Woo! Hi, how are you today?
I'm so well, just living my best life here in sunny New Zealand. Just got back last week from LA, and here I am talking to you fine folks.
Thank you. I was just going to say, listeners may not know that you currently live in New Zealand, but are you from there originally, and growing up, did you always want to be an actor? Like, take us through how you got into the business.
Sure. So actually, I am an Angelino. I'm from LA. Okay, I'm from Arcadia, which is by Pasadena. Some people might be like, you're not an Angelino, but I am. Okay, I went to USC. Yeah, so I moved here 5 years ago with my husband and precious daughter. And we really needed a shakeup. We had to escape Trump. Just kidding. Not kidding. Kind of kidding. There was I think there were a lot of things that were propelling us towards making a change. And I'm so glad I did, because this bitch was not working. Okay. So that's it. Like, I'm so grateful to New Zealand. I'm so great. Like, I literally was just in this like women's magazine that's called Women's Day. So it's that kind of magazine, like a weekly magazine. And the headline, my friend wrote it for me, or she was the writer. And it says, "Moving to New Zealand made me a movie star." And I was like, that's actually true. That's actually fucking true. So
that's awesome.
Yes.
Because I don't know much about New Zealand. I've been to Australia, but I can't imagine.
Those
I feel
assholes.
like at least it's not like Los Angeles. Everyone wants to be an actor in the entertainment industry. So I feel like that's not New Zealand.
I would say that is true. And I mean, honestly, in favor for me, like, sounds terrible, but COVID gave me a fucking career. Because like there's like runaway productions down here because we like didn't have quote COVID in quotes. We really didn't for a while. Now everybody has it, except for me. I just honestly, part of it is right time, right place, and having just been on the grind to varying degrees of mostly unsuccess until I moved here.
As a kid, were you a fan of horror movies, and did any of them have an impact on you?
Okay, I am such a little bitch. Like, I'm so scared. I can think about The Ring and I'm still terrified. I've never seen The Exorcist because I'm scared. I feel like I'm going to have to do it after talking to all these people who love horror so much. I'm like, I think I need to watch some of these movies that are part of the horror lexicon, like Exorcist. It's so funny. There was the only horror movie I remember watching when I was like 12, and I can't even remember what this name of this movie was. Maybe you guys will know, because this is like a 1970s movie.
Okay, give us the synopsis.
I'll give you the synopsis. So, my life synopsis was I was going to a slumber party. My friend's like, I'm going to rent a movie. Let me go to Blockbuster. This looks cool. She puts it in, and it's basically like women topless running around at a summer camp, and there's some murderer named Crispy or Crosby, or I have no idea.
The Burning.
Yeah, Cropsy.
Is that what it is?
Or
Yeah.
wait, isn't it The Burning?
I think that's The Burning.
Is it? I think it is The Burning.
Was there naked? Was it naked?
They're probably, if we're thinking of the right one, and I feel really embarrassed if we're wrong, because our listeners are going to be like, I thought you guys feel like.
Yeah.
There's a 1981, it's kind of a Friday the 13th ripoff called The Burning, which, by the way, starred a very young Holly Hunter and
the guy from Seinfeld.
What is this? Jason Alexander from Seinfeld.
Really?
Yeah.
The funniest part is all I remember is the killer's name is Crispy or Crosby. That's all I can remember.
I think it's Crispy Crosby.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely The Burning.
Yes, The Burning. Well, one of our, I own that movie. I do. So that's a good one. Yes, that's a good one. But very like right after Friday the 13th, like everyone wanted to do slashers in summer camp. So.
It's more on the cruder side. Like, it's a little sleazy.
How dare you?
Listen, Weinstein's behind it.
it was a little sleazy for my tender heart at that age. Now I'm like, can we amp up the sleaze and the shenanigans? More breasts, more running around, more screaming.
Exactly. But why just breasts? Let's get male nudity into there.
Right.
I mean,
Throwing a butt.
peen. Who doesn't want some peen? Yeah,
yes,
of course.
exactly.
You need to see that.
And so most of our questions for you are related to M3GAN, obviously, but going through your resume, we saw that you were in another horror film that debuted on Hulu last year called No Exit, and it just so happens to be a movie that we actually reviewed on our podcast, episode 88, people. Yeah. But how'd you get involved in No Exit? What was that experience like?
Yeah, Little No Exit. I had a little itty bitty role in that as a detective that interviews Dale Dickey. There we go.
Dale Dickey, did you say?
Yeah, so she's the woman that in the movie that is the maid.
Oh, yes. Okay, I remember. It's been a little bit since we saw it.
That was last year.
I know. Jesus. No, she's a phenomenal character actor. She's fucking great. But anyway, I'm there for like a second, and I'm basically how I got involved is I auditioned. Like I've been a really just grinded out actor. Auditions. No one's giving me parts, even if it's one line. I am changing that now, by the way. Everyone that's listening, do not come to me and say you want me to come on your show for a one-line co-star and make me audition. I'm not doing it anymore.
Good.
I'll do it.
Put that out there. Yeah. But no, we were just seeing because we always love to look at any horror experience, no matter what. And we're like, wait, that movie looks familiar. But moving on to M3GAN, what was the audition like for the role of Tess? Because we read that you were given the wrong sides to memorize.
Yes. Well, yeah, it was so funny. It was just it wasn't even like I got the wrong side. I had multiple sides that some were the same as the first one. Some were slightly different. I mean, I think they were just different drafts. And I can honestly say it's probably on me. Maybe I didn't read it correctly. I don't know. But the first audition was self-tape, and then Miranda Rivers is an incredible casting director down here. Love her to bits. But yeah, so I did a self-tape, and then I did the callback it was just Miranda and Gerard. And I walk in, and I just quickly realize I don't have the right sides prepared. And so Miranda and I are just talking through our teeth, oh yeah, I don't know about this. What are the sides? I got the wrong sides. Okay. And then Gerard, bless him, he's like, what's going on? I'm like, so I prepared the wrong sides. My bad.
Wait, can I ask what sides you got? Was it for Avatar Part 2?
Absolutely. Actually, it was for Woman King.
It was
I was actually going to be the Woman King. Here's what basically it comes down to is he's like, pull the sides. And the truth is, it was the same emotion, the same situation, the same test. So I was like, fuck it. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. And the other thing is in New Zealand, you're expected to be off book.
Oh,
I know. Which has been incredibly challenging, but also great because my memory has improved. But every audition, even if it's 6 pages, you have to be off book. And as we know, when you shoot something, you're not memorizing 6 pages. Go do theater. Okay, honey, go do theater. Anyway, so I did it and I left and I was like, well, he thinks I'm an idiot. So that's cool. And I literally just washed my hands of it. I'm like, who would hire the dumbass who memorized the wrong sides? Okay. And he's the dumbass that hired the person that memorized the wrong side. So
No, that's an
awesome story.
Well, obviously he saw the qualities that he needed in you, whether you were saying, maybe you could have recited the phone book and he would have hired you.
Hey.
That gives me hope because I do everything wrong.
Back to Tim and acting.
Tim, let's talk more. Honey, let's have a little sesh.
I know this is really just therapy for me. I tricked you.
I know. Well, so I was going to ask you. So, we felt like the character of Tess in this movie was kind of like the voice of reason for Allison Williams' character, because she's the one who's warning her that, you can't use M3GAN in place of being an actual parent. And I was just wondering, what was your interpretation of Tess? And do you feel like you share any qualities with her?
I would say 100%. That's my interpretation of it. My interpretation is, she's that friend that kind of holds your feet to the fire. And she's not like a brisk, like in that moment where she's like, what are we doing here? Like, this is not what she's meant to be doing. And that was an amazing direction, because I thought Tess could have this one moment of like, she never gets unhinged. She's always kind of nice. And I was thinking like, I'm going to give her the business, let me preach on her. Let me tell her what's what. And they were like, no. Like basically the tone that came out 100%. I'm give Gerard all the credit to that. And Adam and Judson for dropping that little nugget in. But yeah,
Gerard Johnstone, the director.
Gerard Johnstone, the director, yeah. Sorry. And then Adam and Judson are two producers. Anyway, so I just really love this idea that she's like above the M3GAN addiction in a way. Like she can kind of see her for what she is. And I think that's really that was really exciting to be like, everyone else has been sucked into her beautiful blue eyes. And Tess is like, this bitch is cray. What is happening around here?
See, now that I would have actually loved to see if Tess just like, it's like, this bitch is cray.
Because that was very...
Wait, Akela, maybe if Akela's listening, look, we got to get Tess to say,
this bitch
is cray.
That's it. Right? That's it. So we read that the movie was filmed in both US and New Zealand. What scenes were filmed where, and did the actors have to travel a lot between locations?
So principal photography was here. The bulk of it was here. There were just some pickups that had to happen at home. Home meaning the US. But I was always here. Like I said, I'm based here. I mean, I'm always willing to travel. Shit, put me on a plane, but
so everything you did was New Zealand.
Yes, everything I did, and the bulk of it was here. There's a couple things that were, picked up later, like Brian emerging from the car. That was in LA, stuff like that. There's really small bits and pieces that were picked up, but the bulk of it was in New Zealand, in Aotearoa. That is the name of New Zealand in the Maori language, with the incredible New Zealand crew.
That's awesome. I mean, wow.
So shot so beautifully.
And I'm thinking that for all the actors that are based in like Los Angeles or the United States, that must have been nice for them to get to go. You're filming in your backyard, but
yes, that's true. But also like, because Brian and I are quite close. He's like, what? I'm not going back. I'm like, damn it. Uncle Brian needs to come back. I call him Uncle Brian. I'm like, Uncle Brian needs to come back.
Oh, that's awesome.
Have you seen Brian's TikTok?
I'm not on TikTok.
And by the way, for listeners, we're talking about Brian Jordan Alvarez, who plays the other roboticist that you work with at the company. Why am I blanking on his character name?
Cole.
I love that name.
Me too. That's a soap opera name.
I love the name Cole. Yes. And he has quite the TikTok where he does all sorts of crazy impressions.
Oh, they're so funny.
Oh, I watch it on Instagram. So I do watch them. Yeah. He's same. I mean, I go down the rabbit hole on TikTok. It's funny because the M3GAN movie is about like, unplug yourself. And here I'm like, yes, unplug yourself. Oh my God. 3 hours later, am I watching a dog pee on a cat? Like, what is happening here?
Right. I wish I wouldn't have joined TikTok because it's the same as Instagram. So it's like double it.
And add Facebook and Snapchat and Twitter.
That's right.
And what else is there out there? I don't know. But
M3GAN.
We'll get to that because we do want to get your thoughts on technology in general. But I wanted to ask you about how everything worked in terms of interacting with M3GAN while filming. Because, so I read that there was like an animatronic puppet, but there was also a little girl named Amy Donald who did a lot of the movement. And then a young actress named Jenna Davis who did her voice. So who or what did the actors actually interact with while filming scenes?
That's a great question. So I got to interface with the incredible work of Adrian Moreau and his team who created the animatronic doll. I mean, the doll is stunning. She is I saw her and I thought, she's a killer. She's just so beautiful. Like I could see why you'd just be like sucked into her life. It's like looking at, an LOL doll. She's great. And the technology behind that, Devin Semen, I don't remember what company he works for, but he did the electronics. Oh God, I'm play a roboticist in the movie, and I'm like, he does the thingy with the thing that does the thing. And then Paul Lewis did puppeting for the arms. So with the animatronic doll, there'd be animatronic, her face is doing this really cool gadgety puppetry thing. And then sometimes there'd be a person in the arms. But then, like you said, there was a young actress named Amy Donald, who I love. Hi, Amy, I love you. And her mom, Roy Sheen. Hi, I love you. Wonderful, wonderful humans. So she would be in costume in her and doing most of the body work. So the dancing, the running on all fours, the hanging from shit, like, you know, and she was doing that as a 12-year-old. Had just turned 12. She was she was 11 in prep. I'm trying to remember, but she's just an incredible master of dance. I don't know if you have looked at her Instagram page.
I was going to ask you, did Amy do that whole dancing segment herself, including the flip?
Yeah, she did all that dancing. I feel like it might have been slightly choreographed with the teacher at Norris Studio. I can't remember because I wasn't there for any of the dancing, unfortunately.
Oh no.
I was not, but I interfaced mostly because I was in the lab, mostly with the animatronic doll or just the still doll that's just because there was like many of them. There was one that didn't have the animatronic face. It would just be a posable doll. That's the word. So since I was in the lab, I never really got to like see M3GAN often until she kicks our ass in full motion, you know?
Wait, so then when was Jenna Davis's voice laid out on top? Like when people like say Allison Williams doing lines with her, was someone like just giving lines and they put in the voice after?
That's a good question. I don't know what they did. My guess, again, do not quote me. I have no idea. I met Jenna for like a second. The process generally would probably be she would go into a studio, they'd play a scene, and she would just respond to the scene that was, you know, the scene that was already shot. That would be my guess.
I'm thinking it'd be funny if they had to interact with someone who's like off stage doing the lines and it's like some like old guy who's like,
that's right.
Okay, you're bulletproof for your like if it wasn't her.
Yes. Yeah, so actually there was a scratch voice, which was like a placeholder voice for some of it. Amy, I remember one scene that I was involved in, the one where she is crying. She's like, oh, don't be sad.
Consoling
happening. Consoling her about her daughter and her parents, and she starts crying. Amy actually did the scratch voice for that, but that was mainly for our playback. Again, like I never really got to talk to her.
Yeah.
I have some things to say, Megatron. I have some fucking things to say. Okay?
So many components that's what I was thinking. It's like, and it's also seamless when you see the final product, you know, but like the amount of different aspects that went into having like, you know, a moving doll with that voice and, you know, it's just amazing. And were you ever creeped out by the M3GAN puppet? Like for $1,000, would you take it home with you and sleep with it sitting across from your bed?
I mean, there's very little I wouldn't do for $1,000. So yeah.
Same.
That's a good answer. I was
Welcome to Hollywood.
I know. I was going to say you could have a real human being sit across from me for $1,000 while I sleep.
Exactly. I'm like, who is it? And would we have a good time? I'm sure.
Right. So I take it wasn't that creepy as a doll on its own.
I mean, I think for me, as an actor, I would just step into that. Like as Jen, it'd be like, wow. I also have like my best friend hates my childhood doll that I still have. And in order to keep it, I gave it to my daughter to pretend it's her doll, but it's just so she could be close to me. That doll's name is Amy, and she is blonde haired and blue eyed, and she looks like a real baby. And I've just had this like love of doll. Like I'm not a person that gets creeped out by dolls. I just don't. I've just always been like, they're so magical. So yeah, come on over, Meg. Come on down.
I mean,
that's good. I am always creeped out by dolls.
With Barbies, so
I mean, I just am. I don't know. I think it's because anything that can keep the same facial expression the entire time, that's what freaks me out.
What was that Twilight Zone Talking Tina?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yes. There's Talking Tina. It was like, this is before Chucky and any killer dolls. And it was a doll. And the famous line is, I'm Talking Tina and I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Like, he kills the.
I love the old Twilight. Like, yeah.
It's streaming.
Yes.
You can watch it.
They were
Is it
the
streaming?
best.
Yeah.
Wait, I just want to say one thing. You know how you said you don't like things that can't move their face? That's half of LA, so you might not know.
That is a good one. I like that. That is true. Look at
Nothing
that.
wrong with that. Little, a little nip, tuck, squeeze, poke, whatever. I'm just saying, though.
Tim, is that going to be your route?
Never say never.
Oh, no.
You guys are gorgeous. You don't need any of
Oh,
that.
thank you. No, and just so
No.
listeners know, because I know
Are you
you're only
single?
hearing.
Are you guys
you're only.
single?
I'm single. Matt's taken.
I live with my boyfriend. We've been together for 4.5 years. I was just going to tell listeners how gorgeous and amazing Jen looks. You can't see her. We'll take a screenshot pic, but she looks amazing.
Thank you. I showered.
So, as we were saying, M3GAN was directed by Gerard Johnstone, who's also from New Zealand, and directed another horror comedy in 2014 called Housebound. So I hate to ask, did you know Gerard before this, just because you both live in New Zealand? But did you know Gerard before this? And what was his directing style like?
You know what? I did not know Gerard before this. And actually, I had watched Housebound to understand, like, what the fuck we're making. Did I watch it? Must have been before the callback. And I fucking loved it. And watching Housebound made me go, oh, I understand what we're making here. Because, you can read something on a script. If you're not familiar with a director, you can't understand necessarily tonally what that is. For all you actors that are listening, do your fucking homework and see what they've done before, because that helps you with tone. And I saw that, and it was so funny. Have you guys seen it?
No, and I'm embarrassed to admit that. And now all I want to do is see it.
Me too.
It's so funny. Watching that, then you go, oh, I see what M3GAN is. Because on paper, you're like, is this shit funny? I don't know. You just don't know. And
I think it's both.
Yeah. And did he have a certain directing style? Is he very chill? Is he very serious on set?
He's very calm and he's focused. He's very focused, and he's very clear on what he wants. And yeah, he's great. I think he just gets in the zone and he's locked in. He's very kind and pleasant. I mean, he's a Kiwi, so of course he's going to be kind and pleasant. He's not a tyrant out there yelling and any of that kind of stuff. But he's definitely focused, looking at the monitor and then let's grab this. And it's also hard. I feel for directors, because I think oftentimes they have a grand vision and how many shots they want to get. And depending on the budget, you just got to move like lightning, but he's great. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He's very clear. It's very, very clear on what he wants, which is lovely.
Yeah.
And your main co-star was Allison Williams, who horror fans know from Get Out and The Perfection. What was it like to work with her?
She's incredible. I mean, the first day I met her, I was honestly very nervous. As an actor who's finally becoming a working actor, I just had a lot of my own personal hangups, feeling like, should I even be here? And so in talking to her, the first thing I said was, I just have to tell you, I loved Girls. I thought I was living that life in New York, and I definitely wasn't, but I wish that was me. And Get Out is it's such a big watershed moment in horror, especially as a person of color. I'm half Black, half Chinese. It meant a lot to me. And it was just such a smart and insane movie. That's the kind of horror I like. I loved Nope. I loved Us. Actually really like Midnight Mass. But yeah, she's incredible. I mean, I learned a lot from her. I just learned what the number one on the call sheet, how they should function. She's really kind and executive producer, so that she was able to just be kind to everyone, know everyone's name, and be so helpful to me. And I think I've talked about this before somewhere else, but there was one take I wanted to do again, and she's like, well, just ask for another one. And in my head, I'm like, William, of course you just ask for another take. And she was just like, hey, I think Jen wants another take. And I was like, yeah, I do. She's just so gracious, I think she's in a lot of ways just modeled to me, even though I'm older than her, modeled to me what it looks like to be an incredibly talented actor, but just a really kind and genuine human who's helpful and not full of themselves and self-deprecating and funny and beautiful, and I just want to.
You're like, I just want to kill her. Like,
I want to marry her.
No, she
Exactly.
that's so nice to hear because obviously as you become more famous, it's like, does it affect your ego or not? So it's always nice to hear people that it doesn't affect their ego,
Yeah, she was great. I was, M3GAN was my first premiere. I was Baby's first premiere, and I was terrified. And so I would just be messaging her like, what are you going to wear? And I don't know. And how do I feel? And I feel like and she just is just always very kind and gracious. And I mean, she's my friend, but like, you just don't know, again, you just don't know how people, like, just like you said, like, how are people going to be when they're that caliber of actor and celebrity and whatever it is. And she's just a darling human. She's just a human. Really.
Oh, I love hearing that.
Yeah, no, that's great.
Yeah.
And we briefly touched upon, but I wanted to ask you a little more about the other roboticist who you share the screen with, obviously actor and comedian Brian Jordan Alvarez. And by the way, I had no idea until kind of looking into him that he played Jack's husband Estefan on the Will and Grace reboot.
I mean, he jogs on my street. I saw him jogging one day. TikTok
you know what?
star.
Honestly, I'm just gonna say it. And he can say whatever he wants. I'm like, just stop him and say, like, I talked to Jen. Like, he's great. I love him.
And he also, I also didn't know he was an out gay actor who does all that stuff on TikTok. So Tim, maybe you can also get his phone number.
You know what? That's not what this is about.
Is Brian single?
Tim's single. Tim is single.
But is Brian single?
I'm just not saying anything about anything.
And here we go, everyone. A match made on Happy Horror Time.
Brian,
it's your Happy Horror Time.
But what was it like working with Brian? Like, any funny stories from your time together?
It's so funny. He's so funny all the time. Like doing his characters and, Marnie T and everybody else. But like, he's just a genuine, wonderful, lovely person. The reason why I call him Uncle Brian is, like, I really took him under my wing and brought him into my family. And he's just so sweet with my daughter. She loves Uncle Brian. My husband loves him. And for me, like, I just want nice fucking people that can hang with the fam, and also hang not outside. I mean, we would go to dinner ourselves, but I'm not trapped here, guys. I can do what I want. My husband doesn't tell me what to do.
It's Brittany.
She's in one room. She's not allowed out of that room.
Exactly.
In the movie, you end up saving Brian from being hanged, and then M3GAN blows up your lab. How was all that done?
Yeah, because there's a lot of like stuff. How was all that film with the explosion and everything?
Was he close to being hung?
Yes. I mean,
so
another direction.
That's a different show.
Hanged, not hung. It is funny.
Hanged.
It's so funny that when you say the past tense of like being hanged, it's hanged, and I think it's all because hung means
dirtiness.
Dirtiness. Yeah, but
Exactly.
How was all that done?
Well, first of all, I really hope Cole sent Tess a beautiful bouquet for saving his ass.
Yes, you did. You totally did.
I didn't even think about that. We're talking about it. I'm like, hey, she saved him. She deserves, like, I don't know what, a slice of his 401k. But you know what? It was great. It was really quick because when we did that scene was towards the end, and the explosion actually, that part was they blew up that room and we were not in it. And they had to get it on the first go.
Right.
And they did, because once you blow a room up, it's blown up, right?
One shot.
It was so funny because when I was cutting him down off from being hanged, strung up like a pig, the way I was doing it, Gerard was so funny. He's like, Jen, he's like, what are you doing with your face? I think I was doing this, like, scrunching my face and like way too intense. I'm like, okay. Dial it down, Jen. Bring it in. Like, what's happening here? But yeah, it was fine. I really appreciated Allison and Judson and Adam really stepped in to ask if it was okay. Again, because like I'm half Black, and Allison was like, I know maybe if it feels very similar to like a lynching or whatever that is, I just want to see how you're doing. It was just so kind. Like, this speaks to what a kind, thoughtful person she is. Wow. Opposite to her character in Get Out. Just kidding.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
He actually cares about that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I just found that really, really it just makes you go, man, I could just work with them forever, because they actually are thinking about, Allison, and then Adam and Judson checked in too. Like, they really are thinking about like my emotion. They were thinking about my emotional well-being. So in that scene, I was like, I'm actually okay. And I just stepped into like Tess being Tess and saving one of her dear colleagues.
That's so sweet.
I really,
that
really
they-
wish I wish I got to choke that little bitch out more.
I know. Well, but that's so sweet that they asked like how you were feeling with like the content in the film.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there are a ton of productions where they just, where people, they would just be like, you got to do this. I don't give a
Like
shit what
almost every actor we've ever spoken to, especially in the 80s, it was like, just go do it.
Oh my God. Nobody cared about anything in the 80s.
There was no, what is that called when you're naked in the scene? It's
a intimacy coordinator.
Yeah, there was no intimacy coordinator.
The intimacy coordinator was, hey, take your top off.
Yeah, let's do that. Totally
You know, another thing we sort of touched on, but I wanted to ask you more about was where the tone of M3GAN, is very much horror comedy. And, as there were suspenseful moments, but also a lot of times when we were just kind of laughing out loud at the movie. And I feel like that's what the screenwriter, is it Akela or Akela? Akela Cooper had in mind. And I'm just wanted to know, what were your thoughts on kind of the tone? Did you like the mix of horror and comedy? Would you have preferred it had been kind of straight horror, though?
For me, I love the horror comedy. Like I said, like I'm a big scaredy cat. So the first time I saw it was at the premiere, and I was just laughing, and I was just thinking, everybody's funny. Allison's funny as the straight person. Brian and Ronnie are funny doing their thing. Tess is not that funny because Tess just isn't that funny. That's fine. Like, I don't mind being the straight person. That's okay. But I loved it. I thought it was really funny. Of course, I, like a lot of horror fans, would love to see a different version that I know there is.
Well, and that was going to be our next question for you, because, there's all this talk right now that there was an R-rated cut of M3GAN, or that it was initially intended to be R, but then toned down for a younger audience. So I just wanted to ask you, in the initial script that you read, was there any more kills that didn't make it in the movie, or was it just supposed to be more violent?
As far as the scripts I got, there weren't additional kills. Everything just was gorier. And that's all I'll say, because if they release something, I don't want to say anything about anything. Because these people will find you guys.
Right.
Sign contracts.
It's universal.
Well, I've got to say, I would have loved to see M3GAN drop a few F-bombs.
I mean, and now I'm like thinking, because again, like most of my scenes, and I'm remembering like obviously I read the script, and I'm like trying to remember back. The person who cursed a lot was Ronnie Oh my God. Ronnie Chang as David. There was a lot of fuckity fucks. Like, and so the way that they edited it, I don't even know how they did it. I don't know how they fucking did that. Like, it's miraculous. It's miraculous they were able to get any clean takes. I don't know how movie magic works. Like I said, I type with I don't type with two fingers, but
I do.
It's, no, you don't, Jim.
I do.
I've seen it. He does.
Poor Matt. That's like, and I'm like, me. Yeah.
So you can't talk about any violence that may have been in there because of the cut, but you don't remember any like additional kills that were in the script.
No. Now, see, that's the thing. Now it makes me want to like go back and read it again, because I'm like, I have an amoeba brain sometimes. I'm like, what happened yesterday? What did I even eat this morning? Nothing. I actually ate nothing this morning. Okay. Yeah, no. But I mean, I just would like to see Ronnie curse more, because it was so funny. It was so funny.
Oh my God.
What was your favorite scene to film, or what was your overall favorite scene in the film?
It's so funny because there's too many to choose from. But I really loved the stuff with Brandon at the park. And, the one F-bomb is him cursing out. I can't even remember his mom's name.
Fuck off, Holly.
Was it
Holly? That's it. I was like, fuck off, Karen. It's like, Karen?
She was a Karen, but her name was Holly.
Thank you. That whole scene, again, like, so Brene plays Holly. Hilarious. Like, and then Kira Josephson plays the teacher, and just their reactions, like, Jesus Christ, like all that stuff is so funny to me. all the little, like, I'm just so proud of our little acting community, you know, underrated and underrated and underutilized. And then Millen Baird as the cop, when he's just like laughs about Brandon, be like, I know I shouldn't laugh. And he's just dry as hell. Like, there's so many of those little moments where you yourself question, like, should I be laughing that this kid's ear just got ripped off? Like, am I dead inside? No, you're not dead inside. We're supposed to be laughing along because he was a shithead, you know. I don't know.
Yeah, he was a shithead.
Oh.
And by the way, we haven't even said this yet, but we actually did a full episode review on M3GAN. So in case you have like an hour to spare and want to hear us talk about it.
What did you say? Wait, tell me now. What did you say, you bitch?
We loved it. And we were, I mean, to be honest, we didn't think it was that scary per se, but we enjoyed it. And a lot of the horror we love, like the Scream movies, like specifically, when you have a good time through it, you can like have fun with it. It's suspenseful, but you also can laugh. Like, I don't know. That's when I really enjoy watching a movie. And we had so much fun with M3GAN. And we're not just saying that to kiss your ass.
We do 2 episodes. We do 2 films in 1 episode, but we dedicated the whole episode
to
we
had so much to say because we just really had fun with it. It was just hilarious, like hilariously good. And I don't mean to say, when I say it's not scary, I don't mean that it didn't have suspense. There were suspenseful elements, but we were having fun the whole time, you know?
Like, I went into it like knowing that I wasn't going to be like, there's no robot dolls in my life.
Yet. To be determined.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like, a lot of my friends are like, I'm scared of it. I'm scared of horror movies. I'm like, look, motherfuckers, me too. But it's suspenseful. It's like, to me, it feels like, again, I don't know. This is just how I feel about it. It is sci-fi with a nod to horror, but it's just like, it's like a thriller. To me, it feels like a thriller. It's like suspenseful and funny. And I love that. I think like we've all had a really dark 3 years and we need to fucking laugh at some really, really funny stuff. And I think it came at a really good time. There's a lot of heavy movies that have come out and, you know, for the Oscar run, you know, and I think everyone just wanted to have a good time, a good popcorn munching, Raisinets eating, good time.
Exactly.
I could not agree more. That was perfectly said.
Yes, and so we're gonna get real serious with you here with this. So we read really not that serious, but so James Wan, who was one of M3GAN's producers, obviously, was quoted as saying, pretty much the concept is about embracing technology too much and relying too much on it. And what happens when technology runs amok? It's a commentary on the world we live in, and it feels relevant. So what I wanted to ask you is, do you agree that that's kind of the overall message of the film? And personally, do you feel like people rely too much on technology?
I 100% agree that that's the message. I think that's, you know, as a mom, it really struck home because, again, the central character of the movie, beyond M3GAN, obviously, like Violet, who is an incredible actor. Like, I don't know how she does it. And I don't know how she gets this depth of emotion and lived experience without living it. You know, I don't know. I would like to take a master class in acting from her, but we'll schedule that in later. But yeah, as a mom, it really, really resonated with me. Okay. As a regular old human, it resonates with me. I mean, I go into like Instagram holes sometimes just as a way to numb myself, right? And it's like, instead of doing that, like, why am I not outside? Why am I not calling my friend? It's so much easier to send a voice note back and forth than calling. Like, why are we doing that? Like, literally, I'm like, I just sent you and you just sent it back. I could have just called you and heard your voice, you know, live. And so I think sometimes convenience robs you of real human connection. But it's also brought wonderful things. Like, I can talk to you from New Zealand. Like, I talk to my parents and my sister and my nieces and nephews often and back then, you know, back 20 years ago, be like, we have to wait for the mail to show up, you know?
Yeah.
So there's positives, but again, I think the reliance on, for me, from the mother aspect, as using technology as a babysitter has really, it's just so entrenched and enmeshed in our lives And I've seen my daughter get like this, which is when we started going, oh, we really actually do have to do screen time. Not because we're trying to be like hippie parents that don't believe in like screens. No, but there's something about a tablet. I personally think there's something different than a TV, especially like older TVs that we grew up with, versus now everything is just so immersive. And when Violet's character, you know, when she's wrapped up, which was really funny too, wrapped up on the couch in the conference room, and she's screaming and losing her mind inside there with Lydia, not Lydia, excuse me, with
the therapist.
The therapist. And they made her look like a junkie on withdrawal. And 100%, like, I don't know if other people would notice that, but I saw that. I'm like, my daughter does that. It's like taking drugs away from them.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My nephew.
Like when my mom used to turn off the TV, I'd be like, no.
My nephew, who's 8, you know, and my sister and brother-in-law like do screen time. So he only has a certain amount. But like when he's not with them or with me and my parents, his grandparents, and he has more time to do it, it's harder to get him away from it. So, yeah, I mean, you just see it happen with kids nowadays. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
You know what, now that we're getting to like when the movie was finished, I was wondering, what were your thoughts when that first trailer for M3GAN was released, you know, the one that showed her dance moves and started all the hype? Like, did you think they should have waited rather than spoiled that scene, or did you think like it was the perfect strategy to show that and get people so interested?
I think they were geniuses. I think they got all the eyeballs they needed to get to M3GAN. And they started this viral thing. You know, again, we were just talking about like technology, like all the kids are yoked to their phone. Like they're not going to see shit unless it comes across the TikTok first, you know?
Right.
And so they were genius. And actually, I think, again, I am not a strategist for Universal or Blumhouse or Atomic Monster, but I think they were really smart to go, wow, the 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds have really glommed onto this. We need to lower the rating. Like it really was like a great moment for them, because I think we still would have had success because it's still funny. But I think business wise, it was a smart move, and they're welcome to come and strategize my own personal finances. So,
that's awesome.
So great.
And moving on to the premiere, what were your thoughts when you first saw it on the big screen?
I was just honestly like, it's so funny because I'm just watching it and I'm just feeling really proud of my friends. Like these people are my friends, like Allison and Brian and Ronnie and Amy and Violet. Like they're like my friends. And then obviously all the New Zealand cast who I do know personally as well. Like I'm just like, just sitting there like, it's my friends. Like, you know, someone comes on, like, yeah, Brian, you know. But actually the best part was listening to audience reaction. That was like incredible to be like, oh, it's not just like the 12 of us that are enjoying this. It's like this full house, including my husband, who doesn't give any laughter or any props or anything very easily, was cracking up. And I was like, oh, this is actually good. And my mom's Chinese, and usually what happens is she'll give me a compliment and then backhanded compliment afterwards, like, you look great, but you have cankles, whatever. She's never mentioned my cankles. I don't have cankles, but which is why I said that. I was like, let me not say anything that'll make me cry.
She actually said, yeah. Wait, did she say something like, oh, I love the movie, but you could have been this or something?
She said that before. She didn't say that in this movie. And I was like, man, it might actually be good. My whole family, who will be very, very happy to tell me the truth, enjoyed it. So that was such a great litmus test. Like, I'm like, oh man, this is great. And that's when the moment of me being like, oh my God, this is like a thing. And I was so proud because, again, you know, a movie like this could go terribly wrong. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Right? Like it could have, you don't know what you're making. A lot of times you shoot stuff and none of it's continuous, right? So it's like, I'm shooting my bits, they're shooting their bits. I might not be seeing it. Maybe there's a second unit. So I'm shooting with whoever. And anyway, so you just never know what you're going to get, really. And I'm just so pleased that it's fucking good. Like,
Agreed.
And it's just a good time.
And, you know, so far it has grossed, I think I just checked today, 150 million worldwide, which I think defied all expectations.
Yes.
I guess, so why do you, I mean, I think I know the answer to this, but why do you think specifically M3GAN has become such a big success? Like, why do you think it resonates so much with audiences?
Yeah, I mean, I think part of it was it's just such a good time, but I think it's a smart script, and I think it's a pretty good script, and I think the acting is pretty good, and I think it's funny as fuck. Like, and then I think also because they brought the rating down, and because it's not a true horror where it's like no one can sleep at night, like that's it. And also because it's good, the word of mouth has been incredible.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
they've done a lot of marketing ploys, like having M3GANs all over the place, X, Y, and Z, but that's not enough to actually keep people coming. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's tough to get people physically in cars and drive to a theater when they have 900 options at home.
Apps and yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I think the word of mouth has also been, I think people probably saw it, especially movie snobs were like, I'm going to hate this. Fuck this movie, you know? And I think when people started to say like it's good and you see the Rotten Tomatoes scores, they're like, what? I think that made people intrigued. And luckily for them, I would say it was a good payoff.
Absolutely.
I mean, you have to really not have any sense of humor to not enjoy this movie. Like, I mean, you have to be such a
I just see the Fablemans 5 times.
Only the Fablemans
Exactly.
and Avatar. Just Avatar and the Fablemans.
Just Avatar.
So I don't know how much you can talk about this. You probably can't, but I'm still going to ask. So bear with me. So obviously we all know that a sequel is already in the works, set to be released in January of 2025. And we saw that Allison Williams and Violet McCraw, who played Katie, are coming back for the sequel, which begs the question, have you heard whether they intend to bring Tess back or not?
All I can say is, let's just pray they saved her for a reason. That's it. Like, I mean, you know, it's like, that's all I can hope for. Like, I don't believe anything till I sign a paper. I don't know. I will see.
That's a great outlook.
That is a good, and I mean, again, just like you said, like, and I'm not just saying that because we're talking to you, but it's like they could have easily killed you and Cole. Like, so the fact that you guys did survive and a lot of people didn't should be a reason, filmmakers, because to put you in the sequel.
Horror films usually love a body count. In your movie, like the body count,
there should be a reason that they saved you guys. So hopefully, and I wanted to ask
because here's the thing, like if they didn't save Tess, like what is Gemma gonna do? She's a hot mess by herself.
Oh yeah,
in a wonderful way. Like she needs the friend, like I said, that's like, get your shit together, sis. Like what is happening here?
She wouldn't even let her play with those toys.
And we need a chance for you to say, wait, what was the line? That bitch is cray.
Bitch is cray. That bitch
M3GAN 2, the first line.
That bitch is cray. Wait, did you guys see the SNL sketch?
Yes, it was amazing.
Oh, it was so funny. And so I was just thinking about, like, you know, with what's going to happen with Tess. There's one thing where they say it and they're like, and we're slapping together a M3GAN 2. And I'm like, yeah, literally. They're like writing it out. You know, it's like, so who knows? No. And did you guys see the Honest trailer?
No, I haven't seen that.
But
oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Definitely catered to gay men.
Oh my God. Yeah. And Aubrey Plaza.
Yes. I was like, this is really funny.
Really, really funny.
It's so funny.
So personally, where would you like to see them take the story in the next installment? And if Tess comes back, would you want the chance to have like an actual fight scene with M3GAN?
Let me answer that part first, because I'm ready to put her in a headlock and snatch that wig off, honey.
She did have other options for wig.
I know, but I know.
I did. I'm ready to come here. Let me just pull that back. Let's see what's underneath it. Yes, Tess wants to get in there and get her knuckles dirty.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say, and now that you're part of the like horror community, now that you're part of this,
wait. I want to, before you ask, I want to see where would you like to see them take the story? Just like where would you think would be a cool direction to take the story?
Space.
I mean, space. Yeah, that'd be great. Honestly, I would just like to get flown to like Tokyo or Paris. So that's really.
That sounds like a Jen request, not
I know. It's like
Hawaii.
I know. I mean, it's such a question. I don't know. I mean, I think obviously we all saw at the end of the movie that Elsie gave a little turn to the camera.
Mhm.
So we know that little M3GAN is hiding in there somewhere. I mean, that's obviously like obvious, like that was left there for us to draw up that conclusion. So I don't know. I mean, I don't even, I am not a writer, and I feel like I'll spitball and they'll be like, God, Jen is just really bad at this.
Hey, that's an honest answer.
I know. My honest answer is I would just like to get a chance to kick more ass. I would love a chance to create another interesting creation. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes sense.
Who knows?
And
there's so many ways. What do you guys want to see?
I will say
I
this.
want a hot guy love interest for Allison.
Yeah. Well,
yes, me too.
So I love that. That's the.
Listen.
Wait. I did have one. The one thing I do want. I'm such a like realist. Like at the end, I was thinking like there's got to be some accountability for everything that happened. So I feel like the funky toys would be bankrupt. I feel like you got to have some sort of either Allison Williams like went to trial and like barely got to escape jail because it was her creation, but maybe she's like literally like, I don't know, doesn't have a job, just trying to warn people not to do these things. And then like some other toy company that got the stolen files makes another type of M3GAN and she is trying to stop it.
Universal's listening.
I swear I'm not like, I haven't, that's just like, you're like, okay. But anyway, Tess could go with her to stop it because Tess is out of a job too, because, you know, Funky is bankrupt. It's funky.
I love how you're like, I want retribution. This bitch needs to pay. You know?
I mean, it's just, I'm such an, like in sequels, I'm always like I want to see the person like actually grieving like every friend that died, you know, because you know how in horror movies, that's the one thing I always think is funny. Like someone's all their friends died and they look like it's like just another day at the park.
Tuesday.
So I want some accountability.
But yeah, I agree. Well, the funniest part is the people that died were people that were like, you know, we're like, we didn't like you anyway. You know,
true.
They weren't the sweetest.
No, you're right. You're right.
Hurt, you peevy little, you skeevy little creepo. Who's awesome. Stefan is awesome. Yeah, I do like that idea. That's really, really, I hadn't even thought about the idea of retribution, which then maybe we just make an Oscar nominated type of film. And it's about her retribution. She's gone into this dark place. Maybe now, you know, she's become a drug addict.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Let's get Oscar. Yes. And then let's bring in Helen Mirren to be her mother.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. No, Helen Mirren as Fagin. Whatever. I don't know.
Fagin.
I don't know.
So now that you're part of the horror community and you're in this big horror film, would you ever do a horror movie convention?
Yeah. I mean, if someone's going to fly me and pay me, again, look, honey likes a trip. I'm like, yeah. No. You want to put me up in a hotel and pay me to show up? And I honestly, I just love talking to people. Like, I'm now learning, again, I'm new at this type of thing. Like people are sliding into the DMs and I'm like, do I talk to them or not? You know, because the truth is it's like, there's a lot of people to chat to. I don't have many followers and I don't really care. That's fine. I do care. No, I'm just joking. I like this. I just want to be liked. That's really it. I'm like, I just want to, it's deep down. It's like, I don't need to be popular. I've always been that girl that's like, I just want to be the nice girl that everyone likes.
Well, we like you.
Yeah, we like you
a ton.
Thank you.
No, and I think horror. I will say this about conventions because we have gone to many. Obviously, like everyone we talk to, especially people who've never been to one or were a little bit nervous at first, says that like horror fans are like the most loyal and sweetest people. They truly like are so dedicated to this craft, which is can be crazy and bloody and everything.
Not give a rundown for the sequel.
I mean, I already have a sequel. I'm writing it. Just tell Kayla she needs an assistant. I will write it with her. No, but yeah, I think you'd probably enjoy a convention because people like fans are horror fans, especially. They're so dedicated.
I love that. Like, I really do like talking to people, and I love like if I feel like I've made a connection and really changed someone's life in some way. Like I'm all here for that. Like when I did this movie, Don't Make Me Go with John Cho. people were coming out of the woodworks to say like, wow, you are representing like this Blasianness, you know, as a person that's half Black, half Chinese. Like, we don't get to see that a lot. And obviously Mia, the young girl that was my daughter in the movie, that means a lot to me. Like that people would take time as a person who struggled deeply with representation issues. My final paper in college at USC was about the lack of representation of biracial individuals in the media as such. So not getting pigeonholed like, oh, you're dark, now you're Black. Oh, you're fair, your hair straight. Okay, you can be Asian or whatever. Like, so it's been something that's really been a part of me. So anyway, I love talking to people. I love having a conversation. When I lived in New York, I put that vibe out apparently because people were telling me their sob stories on the train. And, you know, New Yorkers ain't talking to nobody. And I'm like, do I look like that person? I guess I do.
Well, but, and also like, and you touched on an important point. I mean, representation does matter. Do you feel like things are getting better, I guess I would say, for like representation for biracial people or people of color? Obviously, there's probably a lot of improvement like in Hollywood, but do you feel like things are starting to get any better?
I think so. I mean, I am a person that's generally an optimist. I'm a realistic optimist. And I think for sure, I mean, I think my own career feels like living proof of that. And there's like, I did this little cheesy rom-com, if you can find it, called Destination Love. It's just corny and cute. But in that the director, A.D. Walker, who I love, she made it a point that when I got married in this movie, that my parents, one was Chinese and one was Black. And that means a lot to me.
Yeah.
You know, because it's no longer where it's like, is that going to be palatable for audiences? Shocking. Oh, she's biracial. Oh my God. Like, hide under the covers, you know? Yeah. So for me, I'm seeing that those moves in my own personal life and career and with some really open-hearted individuals. So I feel like, yeah.
And you've worked with some quality people, I can just tell by talking to you, and how the care that everyone on the production, specifically with M3GAN, took just to make sure, just to be friendly and make sure everyone was comfortable. So that's really cool, you know?
Yeah, it was great. I'm just over the moon and grateful and just surprised. Like, I seriously am like, people are like, did you know it was going to be the big success that it is? And I'm like, no, bitch, I did not. Like, I really can't. I mean, maybe everyone else did. I had no idea. And that it's become this like watershed moment, really. And in cinema, and also like it's now part of the horror lexicon. Like, this is crazy town. This is an actor who was not working until she was 40. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I can still play 29.
Wait, I was going to say, you're not 29?
Exactly. I can still play 29.
That's right.
No,
you know
that's
what I mean?
amazing. Yeah, of course. Amazing. Well, we wanted to ask you, what are you up to now? Are there any projects that you're working on? Or are you just kind of riding with the M3GAN success right now?
I just wrapped up on a little project that I guess I can't talk about, I think. I know.
You're so like, I just wrapped up on M3GAN Part 2. I mean, another project.
I mean, M3GAN 3. We're just like Avatar. We're filming all of them at one time. I actually get my soul taken over by M3GAN. No, I'm kidding. It's like a poltergeist situation. No, so there's that. And I'm always hopeful, you know, I'm always auditioning, and I feel like M3GAN has really given me the gas to like go. And I'm just in such a different place now, where I think before I'd be like, oh, I can't see my next job. Because it literally has been 2 years of me being like, I know my next job. I see my next job. And I can't see it right now, but I can feel it. You know what I mean? And that's the optimist in me. Like, I can't see it on paper, but I can feel that it's coming. So I'm excited. So hire me is what I'm saying. Hire me.
You inspired me.
You emanate like positivity, and I love that. Like, you're making me feel good about like life and this podcast.
Yeah.
Well, first off, Jen, so we have one final question for you. Yes. And just so you know, we've really, really enjoyed this. We had so much fun with you, like seriously. And we ask this to everyone we interview, and it kind of puts you on the spot. It's not what's your favorite horror movie. So what is one thing that you can tell us about your experience working on M3GAN that you've never told in an interview, a publication,
Your husband,
or that may be like on another podcast, just one thing about your experience working on M3GAN that you haven't told in an interview to date. And it doesn't have to be like gossip.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be juice,
but it could be. Yeah, just anything.
I did bake because I'm such a man. I just always want to be friends and be included, and I want everyone to love me. I like baked the crew cupcakes.
I love that.
And I don't know if anyone even remembers, but they're freaking good. And then I like did Allison some like gluten-free whatever ones, and I eat mostly gluten-free too. But I mean, I love doing that. Like most crews in New Zealand know, like there will be some baking that happens at some point if I'm there long enough. If I'm there for a day, you'll get a bag of candy, but you're not, I guess that's something I haven't talked about.
Megan like it?
Did
Megan
have it?
She was dead by then.
You shoved the cupcake in Megan's
exactly.
face.
I would never. I would. If she wants, if she wants to back me up and get Tess. Tess needs a partner. Tess definitely needs a partner.
Yes, and that's really sweet. Because it shows that you care. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people, especially people who aren't involved in movie business, they think of movies, they think of the actors and the director, and they don't think about the thousands of other people in a crew that make the movie happen. And I'm sure a gesture like that was very much appreciated.
Yes.
Or not. Maybe they just all forgot. I don't know.
No, everyone loves sweet.
Yes.
Oh, actually, and I have one more. Actually, I got a slab, which is when, let's say, my phone went off or something. And if that happens, usually it's crew, and then they'll buy beer. You have to buy everyone beer for fucking up the shot. And so I actually did that. They're like, you don't have to. And I'm like, yeah, I do. So I did. But I don't know if anyone remembers that I did that, but
your phone went off when they were filming a scene, and that's why?
It was I think I had an alarm on. It was something weird. I had it set instead of AM, it was PM, that kind of thing. And it was it's really loud. I don't even remember. That's the most horrible noise
all the time
I've ever made out of my mouth.
Was Allison Jen?
Please,
you're fired.
Get out.
Get out.
Get it?
Literally.
She said, get out. Get it.
Out. No, but I was I will pay up. But I don't know if anyone remembers that. I remember that.
That's so generous.
That's very generous.
It's not generous. It's I'm bitch, you messed up. And that's part of the crew. That's part of the, at least New Zealand. I don't know about in the States, but that's part of the, it's one of these unspoken rules. If you get it, it's a slab, you buy everyone drinks, where they, just buy whatever beers. So I gave one of the assistants a card and was like, can you go buy the beers? I'm working, but I got to make good on this. Yeah.
And you never saw that credit card again.
Yeah. That assistant is now living in Beverly Hills.
That's right. They are dressed in Givenchy and
that's awesome.
Living in Beverly Hills. That's right.
Well, look, again, thank you so much for being on the show with us. We're so happy for all the success M3GAN has, for all the success. We wish you nothing but success moving forward. We hope you're in M3GAN too. I think it'd be a big miss if you're not. So fingers crossed that happens. From my mouth to James Wan and Blumhouse's ears.
There we go. Say that for the people in the back.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you for having me. This little girl who's from Arcadia who really struggled with her own identity and people accepting her is so thankful that you guys would even want to talk to her. I'm just so grateful. The 42-year-old Jen is that's right, you want to talk to me, but the 6-year-old hiding in the closet painting a Barbie Brown says thank you. So
the 43-year-old Matt wants to say the pleasure is all ours.
Soon to be 46, Tim agrees.
Tim, we're gonna find you a boo. Don't you worry. I love matchmaking.
Oh,
do
maybe a guy in New Zealand, Tim. A little
anywhere.
Listen, all my gay friends here would love for you to come. It is such a small pond. They're I've literally dated everyone 6 times. So come on down.
Okay. Yeah. I need a new pond.
And I just need a vacation. So I'm coming with.
Go.
Matt, you can be my wingman.
Yes, exactly. Well, thank you so much, Jen. Thank you so much. We had a blast.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Oh, bye. I think honestly that was so fun.
Of course. Of course. We'll talk soon, okay?
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of Happy Horror Time.
This podcast is hosted by Tim Murdoch and myself, Matt Emmert. It's co-produced by Jacob Randall.
We release new episodes every Monday, and we switch off between reviewing new horror films with spoilers and interviewing horror stars. So there's something for everyone.
You can listen to the podcast directly from our website. That's www.happyhorrortime.com, or from Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Pandora, or wherever you stream podcasts. And if you'd like to support us, please sign up to be a patron at www.patreon.com/happyhorrortime. Patrons get access to our monthly bonus episodes where we discuss past horror films according to a theme. They get to vote on those themes. They get our monthly newsletter, The Happy Horror Times, and autographed Happy Horror Time stickers.
If you haven't already, make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter at Happy Horror Time.
And since our movie reviews do contain spoilers, we always post the films we're going to review a few days in advance on our social pages, just in case you want to watch them beforehand and be in the know with us.
And finally, if you'd like to contact us directly, send an email to happyhorrortime@gmail.com. We especially love it when you tell us how sexy we are.
I'm Matt Emmert.
And I'm Tim Murdoch.
And we hope you have a happy horror time.